Oh my gosh, it's so cheap. How can I not buy this? I bought it. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. PCBWay offers all the services you need for prototyping and production of your electronic projects. With PCBWay, you can order a wide variety of circuit boards, including advanced multi-layer PCBs, and even those cool flexible PCBs. You can even order your PCBs assembled so they're ready to use when they arrive at your door. Did you know that PCBWay can help with other parts of your project too? That's right, PCBWay now offers services for 3D printing, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, and even injection molding plastics. All of these services are available with fast turnaround times and competitive prices. For your next project, be sure to visit PCBWay.com for the easiest prototyping experience.
Mad Mod.
This is the T-Well T68 HGS. I purchased this keyboard for about $14. At the time of recording, there is also a version without the Bluetooth wireless feature, selling for $9.99. As far as I can tell, this is the cheapest mechanical keyboard on Amazon. I have no idea what to expect at such a low price point. So let's go ahead and take a look at what comes in the box. Looks like we've got a pretty standard USB Type-C cable here. There's also this little manual that explains how to use the function keys, how to enable Bluetooth wireless mode, and how to control the backlight. This keyboard does come with a multicolor backlight, but it's not addressable RGB, so you can't really change these colors. I'll probably end up just turning the backlight off anyway. Here is the keyboard itself. I purchased the wireless version of this keyboard because I'm planning on using this with my Steam Deck when I'm out traveling around. It looks like the keyboard has a white plate to maximize the effects of the backlighting. We have some pretty basic shine-through keycaps and a nice red accent on the escape key that screams, "Look at me, I'm a gamer." Let's do a quick sound test to see what we're starting out with here. You may have guessed it would sound something like that. To many people, the sound of these clicky blue switches is immediately recognizable. While I personally am not a fan of clicky switches, I must admit these are far from the worst I've ever used. The actual click sound is pretty tame, and they're not very wobbly like most cheap no-name switches. I'm going to see if I can make this cheap keyboard any nicer while keeping the budget to an absolute minimum. I'll be using a cheap roll of painter's tape and some foam that was used as packing material. Of course, I will also be swapping out the clicky blue switches with a set of tactile switches. Let's go ahead and take this keyboard apart, starting off by removing the keycaps. It looks like there's 6 Phillips head screws I'll need to remove. Since I bought the wireless keyboard, this one has a rechargeable battery on the inside. Here you can see the back side of the PCB. It looks like all these switches are soldered into place. That means this PCB is not hot swappable, but of course it's not. It was $14. Just because it's not hot swap doesn't mean we can't take it apart. I just need to get out the desoldering tool. Desoldering tools like this are a little bit pricey, but in my opinion they are worth every penny. It works just like a little vacuum cleaner for solder. After the solder has melted, you can pull the trigger on the desoldering tool and it will pump out the solder that you're trying to remove. It really makes jobs like this one a breeze. Of course, there are cheaper alternatives. There are manual versions of the same tool. Some of them use a bulb to create the suction. And if you're truly a masochist, you can try using one of these spring-loaded desoldering tools. I'm going to be extra careful when pulling these switches from the plate. If there's any solder left connecting the switch pins and the PCB, it's possible to accidentally pull up the PCB's traces and damage the PCB. Removing all the switches will allow the plate to separate from the PCB. It looks like this keyboard does come with a metal plate, so that's kinda nice. So I fully intended on clipping and lubricating these stabilizers, but it looks like these are already lubricated from the factory, so that's another nice touch. For replacement switches, I'm either going to go with a cheap set of Holy Panda clones or these interesting looking Holy Tom switches that I found. The Holy Tom switch is supposed to be really similar to a Holy Panda, it just has a translucent housing. I think I'll go with the Holy Toms since they were a little bit cheaper and I've never used them before, so I really want to give them a try. I'll put a link in the video description where you can find some cheap switches that are similar to these. To help keep the plate and PCB aligned while I'm installing these switches, I'm going to go ahead and solder in the switches that are in each corner first. Now I just need to finish snapping the switches into the plate and soldering them to the PCB. I'm going to be trying out the popular tape mod on this keyboard using a cheap roll of masking tape. I'll go ahead and apply a few layers of masking tape to the back side of this PCB and cut some holes for the keyboard standoffs. This particular keyboard doesn't have a lot of empty space inside the keyboard case, but I still want to try to fill it up as much as possible. To do that, I'm going to take this foam that I got for free and cut it into some thinner strips. I'll pack little pieces of the foam into the keyboard case anywhere that they'll fit without getting in the way. I think that's probably sufficient, so now it's time to reassemble the keyboard. Awesome. Now let's hear how the keyboard sounds when compared to the original sound test. To keep the sound test fair, I will be using the same black desk mat that I used in the original sound test. Wow, what a huge difference a few simple modifications can make. This keyboard feels and sounds entirely different. Let's quickly review the items used in this modification and do a cost breakdown. Going with the wireless version, I paid about $14 for the keyboard itself. The roll of wide painter's tape cost me about $6. I'm sure there are some alternatives out there that are a little cheaper than this. You could probably get away with using any easy release masking tape. It doesn't have to be the blue painter's tape. I ended up going with the Holy Tom switches. They cost me $27 for a pack of 70, so that was enough to do the entire keyboard. Of course, if you wanted to go with the Holy Panda clones, you could do something like that, although they're a little bit more expensive per switch, I believe. Of course, the foam was sourced for free. There's probably a variety of materials you could use to substitute for this. This brings the grand total for this project, including the keyboard, to $47.42. Of course, if you have no need for a wireless keyboard, you could go with the wired version of the keyboard and come out for $43.42. Either way, I'm pretty happy with the results. The project stayed under $50 and the keyboard sounds really nice in my opinion. I would love to know what you think, so leave a comment below. Do you think there's value in modifying cheap things like this, or do you think your money's better spent somewhere else? If you like this video and you want to see what else I've been working on, go ahead and click subscribe and check out some of my other videos. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.